In the vast ocean, where waves and people challenge each other, the fishing journey starts from dawn to dusk. In today's video, we will follow the hard-working fishermen, the silent warriors in the middle of the ocean, to discover every moment of excitement, hardship, and joy when the net full of fish is pulled up. Let's start this journey together. Not only human power, but also the support of modern machinery helps the fishing process become more effective. The machine rotates regularly, dropping the net coils into the deep ocean. Each rotation is part of the work cycle of those who live with the sea, rhythmic, precise, and full of patience. The nets began to be pulled in, buoys rising from the churning waves. The entire ship seemed to follow every movement from the depths of the sea, where secrets were slowly being revealed. This was where hard work, experience, and patience paid off, where the challenge began again. This is the moment that requires strength, unity, and team spirit, when the whole team pulls the heavy net from the bottom of the sea. Each step, each arm tightens. Each shout echoes in the wind and waves. It is not just a job, but a battle for survival that has been associated with many generations of fishermen. While pulling the net into the hold, amidst the undulating movements of the waves and the last rays of the sun, an unexpected surprise appeared. A sea turtle was caught in the net along with the catch. This was the moment that made all the fishermen pause, because in the midst of their lives, they still kept their respect for the wild nature. The most awaited moment has finally arrived. The entire catch of fish is lifted from the sea surface, tossed into the air in the afternoon sunlight. In an instant, hundreds, thousands of fish fall onto the deck like a silver rain, heavy, lively, and full of satisfaction. The sound of fish falling is not only the sound of achievement, but also joy, the motivation for the ships to continue their journey tomorrow. Amidst the bountiful catch, a special guest also appeared. The small shark caught in the net was pulled up, making the atmosphere more bustling than ever. Meanwhile, other fishermen were still busy sorting the fish, measuring each basket and each basket. The work did not stop, but the joy had already spread throughout the boat. As the sun sets and the work draws to a close, the fresh fish baskets are taken down to the cold storage one by one. This is the final step in the fishing journey, where every drop of sweat and effort during the many hours at sea is carefully preserved to keep its freshness. Everything is ready for the return trip to the mainland. After hours of hard work at sea, the joy of a successful fishing trip was evident on every face. The crisp laughter, the raised arms, and the team spirit were the most precious rewards. If you loved the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next journeys with the fishermen at sea. After the nets were cast down, the work was not over. Nimble hands began to collect the fish one by one into baskets. Each pick, each stacking was a combination of skill and skill accumulated over years at sea. From the surface of the water to the hold of the ship, the fish's journey had only just begun. When night falls, the ship quietly returns to the mainland, carrying a full hold of fish, and most of all, joy, gratitude to the sea, and a meaningful day of work. The lights on the ship illuminate the water, like a farewell to the ocean until the next voyage. The heavy nets were brought close to the side of the ship, so heavy that the seawater seemed to be stretched. This was the moment when all eyes turned to the big, round net, the thing that held so much hope. And then, the fish began to pour out, covering the deck of the ship. The fish thrashed in the last wave of water before falling to the floor, like a lively harmony of the ocean. Once again, the ocean generously bestowed upon humans a bountiful harvest. The entire ship's hold seemed to light up with the silvery light from the thousands of fish that had just been brought aboard. A scene full of life where the ocean showed its generosity. Each person bent down, gently sorting and picking up the fish and putting them into large baskets. The work was regular and rhythmic, like a familiar dance amidst the ocean waves. Fresh, neat baskets of fish filled the ship's hold, the result of many hours of hard work, now being prepared to be put into cold storage for preservation. Each basket of fish not only contains products from the ocean, but also contains the sweat, effort, and faith of those who are attached to the sea profession. In the middle of the vast ocean and the warm sunlight, the ship continues its journey with a new catch. The fishermen begin their familiar operations again, dropping the net, dropping the buoy, each rope being rolled along as if pulling hope into the ocean. A cycle of life, quiet, persistent, and full of faith. When the net is full of the ocean's bounty, it is time for humans and machines to enter the final battle. The machine rotates steadily, whistling each turn of the rope, while the fishermen still cling to the side of the ship, coordinating rhythmically, pulling, holding, and removing each meter of heavy net. This is not just labor, but a blend of experience, technology, and faith in the ocean. The heavy net was now drawn close to the side of the ship, full of movement within. This was the crucial moment, where all eyes turned to the end of the journey, when the net would be released, releasing the gift the sea had given. And here, the most awaited moment. The net finally opened, pouring down onto the deck a rich amount of seafood, red with the shimmering scales of shrimp and fish, shining brightly in the sunlight of the ocean. The sounds of fish hitting the floor, the joyful shouts of the fishermen, all blended into a lively melody, closing a successful catch. After the nets were dropped, the work continued without a break. The fishermen quickly sat down and began sorting the fish. Each one was carefully selected, divided by type, size, and freshness. Their hands were nimble, their eyes were focused. Every movement showed professionalism and a rhythm of life that had become familiar at sea. After many hours of waiting and observing, it was time for the fishermen to start pulling in their nets, entering the most important stage of the journey. Each rope was pulled taut, each eye followed every movement under the water. Each pull was a hope for a full catch, for the generosity of the sea today. The last nets are being pulled up, heavy, drenched in seawater and hope. Each jerk, each step back of the fishermen is a coordinated effort between man and sea. In the bright sunlight, the catch is gradually revealed, a sign of a promising fishing day. As the net was opened, the wriggling fish poured out onto the deck, glistening in the sunlight like living silver bars of the ocean. It was a scene that was both bustling and peaceful, where sweat and effort were rewarded with a bountiful catch, full of fish and filled with laughter. As soon as the fish are dumped, the work begins immediately. The fishermen quickly sort and arrange each batch of fish into baskets according to size and type. Under the early morning sunlight and calm sea, they work tirelessly, rhythmically and meticulously as if they have been involved in the job since childhood. Each basket of fish is a part of the result, preparing for the journey back to the mainland. After preparing enough food, fuel, and fishing gear, the ship left the dock, starting a new journey in the vast ocean. In front of them was the vast ocean, behind them was the familiar mainland, and on the deck were people ready for a challenging day of making a living. After preparing enough food, fuel, and fishing gear, the ship left the dock, starting a new journey in the vast ocean. In front of them was the vast ocean, behind them was the familiar mainland, and on the deck were people ready for a challenging day of making a living. Once the boat has reached the far seas, marked by experience and instinct, the fishermen begin the crucial step, casting the nets. Each loop of line, each net is thrown out into the sea with intense concentration. Every movement is precise because they know that an effective catch begins with careful preparation from the beginning. Amidst the darkness that enveloped the calm ocean, the fishermen were still working diligently. No spotlights, no cheers, only the sound of waves, the sound of nets, and the decisive pull echoed in the night sky. Each person had a hand, working together to pull the net that was sinking deep to the bottom of the water, like a silent test of strength between men and the ocean. Amidst the flickering lights and the vast darkness of the ocean, the full net was finally brought up to the deck. The nets were opened, pouring out hundreds of silvery fish still wriggling, a worthy gift for those who had persevered at sea all day long, even late into the night. After hours of hard work under the sun, wind and waves, the fishermen take a nap and rest right on the control deck, which is both the center of the ship and a temporary shelter in the middle of the vast ocean. And when the sea becomes calm and the sky is clear, they continue their familiar work, dropping their nets into a new area of water. Each time they drop their nets, they sow hope, a never-ending cycle of people living with the sea. As the sun slowly crept over the distant horizon, the first rays of sunlight gently spread across the calm sea. A hopeful start to a new day in the vast ocean, where every journey begins with faith in nature and labor. And in another time, when the night falls, the work does not stop. The fishermen continue to pull their nets under the dim light. Each quick, coordinated movement seems to be ingrained in their flesh and blood. In the vast darkness, only the rustling sound of the net and the resilience echo. After hours of tireless effort, the result was clear, a full net, shiny in the light, about to be released in the middle of the deck. Each pull was a flexible coordination between human and machine power, all waiting for a moment of release. And then tons of fish poured down, filling the deck. The fish wriggled, the silver scales shimmering in the light. An unforgettable, spectacular scene, both a reward and a motivation to continue the next sea voyages. When the sea is calm, the net is pulled up with the whole team's consensus. One by one, attentive, well-coordinated, their strength matches the heartbeat of the ship. No one stands aside, because they understand that, if just one person lets go, the whole catch of fish can slip away. After many hours of struggling with the wind and waves, the net was finally pulled up on deck. bulging like a giant balloon, containing tons of fresh fish inside. The atmosphere on board became tense, silence giving way to the most awaited moment. And then, when the bottom of the net was opened, each stream of fish began to flow out, pouring out like flowing water. A breathtaking sight that only those who are attached to the sea profession can fully feel the value of each fish, each moment of non-stop work. The K Chinla Hi KNT Xen Hangcho MT Chayan Bayan Jion Nan, Hang Tien K Tagi Fach Kian Boon Tao, Yum Tim Si Kang Jion Bioan B Gong and Vamao SCC Sen Yang Ti Bayan Si. MT Han Tren Keple, Kang Chabin Kan SB, Mobbing MD High, SS Won KNT Batun U Bayan Theme GBM Tron Ting Kong Kick. Thank you for following the journey out to sea with the Fisherman. If you love this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the bell to accompany you on the next sea voyages.